time is short. I think we all should take a lot more pictures and make more memories because you just never know. These haunting words were posted by Maya Jennifer Simmons on Snapchat the night before she was killed. Less than 24 hours later, as the diamond on her finger caught the glow of neon lights outside the Bloom Room nightclub, those words would become a chilling prophecy. The night should have been the beginning of Maya's happiest chapter. A surprise proposal. A resounding yes. Friends celebrating around her. A future finally taking shape for the 30-year-old mother of 8. But someone else was watching from the shadows. Someone who believed that happiness belonged to her instead. 5 gunshots shattered the warm July night. By sunrise, 8 children would be motherless, a grandmother would be broken, and a community would be left asking why a moment of pure joy had to end in senseless violence. Before we continue this journey, if you believe in giving voices to victims and shining light on stories that deserve to be told, take a moment to subscribe to True Crime Journal and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us continue bringing these important cases to light and ensures that victims like Maya aren't forgotten. Together, we can learn from these tragedies and perhaps prevent future ones. Maya Jennifer Simmons lived for her children. At 30 years old, she had built her entire world around her 8 kids, creating a home filled with love, despite the financial struggles that often came with single motherhood. She was magic with those kids, her grandmother Jennifer Ferguson often said. Having been raised primarily by Jennifer after her own mother struggled with addiction, Maya learned resilience and unconditional love from the woman she called her real mom. We'd sit on the porch swing some evenings, just watching her kids play in the yard, Jennifer recalled. She'd tell me about wanting to go back to school someday, about opening her own daycare center where mothers could afford quality childcare. Education had always been important to Maya, though she had put her own dreams on hold when she became pregnant with her first child at 17. She had recently begun taking online courses toward a degree in early childhood education. Her notebook was filled with business plans for Maya's Little Angels daycare, complete with curriculum ideas and budget projections. The challenges Maya overcame would have broken many others. From the father of her first 3 children abandoning the family to losing her job during the pandemic, to the heartbreaking loss of her daughter Dream, one of her twins who passed away, Maya faced each obstacle with remarkable strength. She worked cleaning houses, did hair from her kitchen on weekends, and even sold homemade baked goods to make ends meet. That girl never complained, said her closest friend Tasha. She'd be dead tired from working all day, but she'd still help her oldest with his science project or read bedtime stories to the little ones. After 2 years of dating a man who had embraced her children as his own, Maya finally felt she had found a partner who respected her independence while offering the support she deserved. Friends noticed a new lightness in her step, a brightness in her eyes that had been missing for years. She called me right after he proposed, Jennifer said, clutching a photo of Maya. She was laughing and crying at the same time, saying, "Grandma, I finally got it right this time." She was planning to have all 8 kids be part of the wedding ceremony. That engagement ring symbolized more than just marriage for Maya. It represented stability, partnership, and the family unit she had always wanted for her children. No one could have predicted that the symbol of her new beginning would trigger the violent end to all her dreams. July 28, 2023, began as an ordinary Friday. Maya dropped her younger children at her grandmother's house and spent the afternoon getting her hair and nails done. Small luxuries she rarely afforded herself. "She thought we were just celebrating my promotion," said Letitia, Maya's friend of over 15 years. "She kept saying she didn't need to get so dressed up, but we insisted. We all knew what was coming except her." The Bloom Room nightclub was filled with celebration that night. Maya's boyfriend arrived in a tailored suit, took her hand, and led her to the center of the dance floor. As the DJ lowered the music, he dropped to one knee, producing a small velvet box from his pocket. Security footage shows the moment clearly. Maya nodding emphatically, tears streaming down her face as her boyfriend slipped the ring onto her finger. Friends rushed forward to embrace them both. Champagne was poured, and for nearly an hour the celebration continued. What none of them noticed was Keisha Simmons Birch sitting at the bar, watching the entire scene unfold. At 39 years old, Keisha Simmons Birch presented herself as a successful woman who had everything under control. She worked as an administrative assistant at a local insurance company and maintained a tidy apartment in a respectable neighborhood. But beneath this carefully maintained exterior lay a complex web of insecurities and volatile emotions that few people ever glimpsed. Kaisha and Maya weren't strangers. They had met several times through mutual acquaintances, with Kaisha always maintaining a polite but distant demeanor. What Maya didn't know was that Kaisha had been watching her with growing resentment for months. The connection between these two women centered around one man, the same man who had just proposed to Maya. According to friends, Kaisha and this man had dated intermittently for nearly 3 years before he met Maya. Their relationship had been tumultuous, marked by frequent breakups and reconciliations. She always thought they would end up together, explained Kaisha's cousin. Even when they weren't officially together, she'd say things like, "He always comes back to me." She never truly accepted it was over. The final breakup had occurred approximately 6 months before he began dating Maya. Text messages recovered from Kaisha's phone revealed she had continued reaching out to him, alternating between angry accusations and desperate pleas to reconcile. Co-workers noticed changes in Kaisha's behavior. She began calling in sick more frequently and was caught several times looking at Maya's social media accounts during work hours. One colleague reported finding Kaisha crying in the break room after seeing a photo of her ex with Maya and her children. There had been warning signs of Kaisha's escalating jealousy. On 2 occasions, she had, coincidentally, appeared at restaurants where Maya and her boyfriend were dining. 3 weeks before the proposal, Kaisha confronted the couple outside a movie theater, screaming that he was making the biggest mistake of his life before security asked her to leave. In the days leading up to July 28th, Kaisha's social media activity painted a picture of a woman on the edge. Her final post, made just hours before arriving at the Bloom Room nightclub, read simply, "Some people don't deserve their happiness." Phone records would later show that Kaisha had called her ex 17 times on the day of the proposal, each call going unanswered. According to witnesses, Kaisha arrived at the Bloom Room alone around 10:15 p.m. She ordered a drink and positioned herself with a clear view of Maya's table. Security footage shows her reaction to the proposal was immediate and visceral. She downed her drink in one gulp and gripped the bar so tightly her knuckles whitened. The first confrontation occurred around midnight. As Maya made her way to the restroom, Kaisha intercepted her in the hallway. Witnesses reported hearing raised voices, though the music made it difficult to discern exact words. "The older woman was pointing at Maya's ring, getting in her face," said one patron. "Maya kept trying to step around her, but this woman wouldn't let her pass." Maya texted her friends, who met her outside the restroom to escort her back to their table. "She was shaken up," Letitia later told police. She said the woman claimed to be involved with her fiancé and was making threats. At 12:35 a.m., Maya's fiancé suggested they continue the celebration elsewhere. As the group prepared to leave, security cameras captured Kaisha exiting the club ahead of them. What no one realized was that she wasn't leaving. She was retrieving something from her car. The Bloom Room's parking lot was dimly lit that night. Maya walked arm in arm with her new fiancé, the ring on her finger catching what little light there was. None of them noticed Kaisha's dark sedan parked nearby. As Maya's group approached their cars, security footage shows Kaisha emerging from between two parked cars, blocking their path. Maya's fiancé stepped forward. "We don't want any problems," he said according to witnesses. "Just let us pass." Kaisha's response was chillingly calm. "You really think you're going to marry her?" she asked, her right hand concealed inside her purse. Maya spoke directly to Kaisha. "This doesn't have to be like this. We can all move on with our lives." What happened next occurred in seconds. Kaisha removed her hand from her purse, revealing a 9mm handgun. Before anyone could react, she raised the weapon and fired 5 shots in rapid succession. 4 bullets struck Maya, 2 in the chest, 1 in the abdomen, and 1 in the shoulder. She collapsed onto the asphalt as her friends scrambled for cover. Her fiancé dropped to his knees beside her, frantically trying to stop the bleeding while screaming for someone to call 911. Kaisha made no attempt to flee. Instead, she lowered the gun to her side and stood motionless, watching as Maya's fiancé cradled her bleeding body. "She just stood there with this blank expression," said one witness, "like she was watching a movie instead of a real person dying." Security guards reached the scene quickly, restraining Kaisha, while another attempted to provide first aid. Police and emergency services arrived minutes after the 911 call. She kept saying he was supposed to be mine over and over, reported Officer James Kendrick, who transported Kaisha. Despite emergency efforts, Maya Jennifer Simmons was pronounced dead at 1:37 a.m. at Atlanta Medical Center, less than 3 hours after accepting a proposal that represented all her hopes. The engagement ring was still on her finger when doctors pronounced her death. The grim task of notifying Maya's family fell to officers who arrived at Jennifer Ferguson's home at 2:23 a.m. Body camera footage captured the moment Jennifer opened her door, her hand immediately flying to her mouth. "Is it Maya?" she asked before they could speak. "Please don't tell me it's Maya." Inside the house, Maya's 8 children slept peacefully, unaware that their lives had been irrevocably altered. The youngest, just 3 years old, had been tucked into bed by Maya herself earlier that evening. "How do I tell them?" Jennifer asked through tears. "How do I tell these babies their mama isn't coming home?" Meanwhile, the investigation was already in full swing. Crime scene technicians collected evidence, including 5 shell casings and blood spatter patterns. By dawn, detectives had taken statements from 12 witnesses. Kaisha Simmons Birch turned herself in on August 11, 2023, and was charged with manslaughter and possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a violent crime. During a bond hearing, Birch was placed under house arrest with a $200,000 surety bond. She is prohibited from using social media and from contacting any members of Simmons' family. Birch's attorney claims she acted in self-defense, while Simmons' family disputes this, asserting that Maya was not an aggressive person and expressing their desire for justice. As of now, there is no public record of a trial verdict or sentencing in this case. The legal proceedings are ongoing, and further updates are awaited. In the modest home where Maya had raised her children, the silence following her death was deafening. 8 children struggled to comprehend a world without their mother's love. "The little ones keep asking when mommy's coming home," Jennifer explained, her voice breaking. "The older ones understand she's gone, but they're angry. They want to know why someone would take their mother away over something so senseless." Jennifer, at 67, suddenly found herself the primary caregiver for all 8 children. Despite her own grief, she maintained the routines Maya had established: school drop-offs, homework sessions, and family dinners where Maya's empty chair stood as a painful reminder. The financial burden was immediate. Maya had been the family's primary breadwinner, working full-time while maintaining part-time jobs to provide for her children. Without her income, the family faced potential eviction. The community's response was swift. A GoFundMe campaign raised over $87,000 in the first week. Local businesses contributed to a trust fund for the children's education, and neighbors established a meal train. Maya's employer awarded her a service recognition that included a $25,000 life insurance benefit. For Maya's fiancé, the path forward was equally challenging. He visited the children regularly, maintaining the connection to the family that would have become officially his. "He lost his future wife, but these children lost their mother," said Pastor Elijah Thompson, who counseled the family. "There's no roadmap for navigating that kind of grief." Maya's case has also influenced local policy. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office now includes specific training on identifying and prosecuting cases involving obsessive ex-partners, recognizing that these situations often escalate to violence. The training program, known as Maya's Protocol, emphasizes early intervention in stalking cases. For Maya's fiancé, the legacy is more personal. "I want people to remember that Maya wasn't just a victim," he said. "She was a woman with dreams, with a laugh that could fill a room. The tragedy isn't just how she died. It's all the living she didn't get to do." If this case moved you, if you found yourself thinking about Maya's children or the warning signs that went unheeded, please take a moment to subscribe to True Crime Journal. Your subscription helps us continue bringing these important stories to light, honoring victims like Maya Jennifer Simmons while raising awareness that might save lives.